Hi friends, in this session I will be discussing about get, put, delete, post methods. So I will be taking one URL. The testing world APIs. In this website they have provided different methods like get, post, put, delete. So we will be using this APIs in our Postman and test manually. So first let me take the get API. So this is the base URL. This is the reference URL. Copy the base URL simply. So method is get and now paste. So here I will be passing the ID of that particular user, 350s. And why I am passing ID means, see, in the URL parameters they have given ID. So this ID we need to pass inside this ID. So this ID we need to pass here. And also there is no need of body parameters. After hitting this API, we'll be getting the response. I think there is no data for this ID, so let me pass this. So we have got the response. Okay, status is true and status 200 okay, and it took 39 milliseconds. So in this way we can able to test the get API with passing the ID. Here ID means ID will be unique for that particular item. So if I coming, so as a manual tester you need to check whether the status code is 200, whether we are getting the response or not. So for that particular ID we are getting the data as expected or not, you need to test. So you can test n number of user IDs. Suppose if I take the same ID here and change to another. Oh, for 87 there is no user for that particular ID, so I will be passing 88. See, the response came. So in this way you can test multiple IDs for that particular student. And so now we have tested by using this ID. So if I want to get all the students list, means this is the API. If you look at here, we no need to pass any URL parameters, body, and also response information. So directly we can use this reference URL. Anyway, here just remove this ID itself. Now click on send. Now we can able to see all the users list. Okay, see, for ID 1 this is the data, for ID 2 like means ID will be unique for that particular ID, the data will be coming Java automation. So in this way we can test the APIs. So coming to the post method, next is our post. Post means we are adding some new data into the system. So I am pasting the URL. So go to the post. This is the post API. So click on this. So if you look at here, there is no URL parameters. So we no need to pass any parameters in the URL. But the body parameters they have given, and also here they have given the request format, or we can say it as payload. Okay, so simply copy this. Before that, paste this beside the base URL. So now go to the body, select raw, and this copy this payload and paste inside the body. Okay, and here convert into JSON. So here I will give language Telugu, English, means I am posting the data. Okay guys, 23, none. We can say we can keep it as string, sample string here as of now. This ID is unique, so even though if you keep this ID or remove this ID, there is nothing much difference. But for this, but for now, we will keep. Now send the API. So the message got added. So status is true, and status is also 200. Okay. So we have verified this URL by using the post method manually. So points to remember here is whenever you are posting any data, it is mandatory that in the body you need to pass the payload. So in the payload, whatever the data you want to like post, the data you need to enter. So after entering the data here, there are different formats are there. So I need JSON format, so I will be selecting this JSON format because the expected given me in the JSON format. So I am selecting the JSON format. So after that you need to send the request. So after request was sent, we will be getting the status as 200. Okay, so we can able to check whether the data is added in the get API. Let's see, this is the get API, right? So in the post API we have added this, so let us check whether the data got added in the get API or not. So technique, here I will search for Telugu. It is formatting, just a second. This is not, this is not, see, this is the data which got added. So this is the ID which is generated by the system, so we no need to take care about this. And the language I have added is Telugu, English, 2023 none sample string. Telugu English 2023 none samples string. So in this way we can able to access, and also you can pass the ID here. Here we are getting the list of users, right? So if you want that particular ID, now if you look only one data we have. Now if you look only one data displayed. So in this way we can use the post method and check whether the data is added in our get method or not. Now let's learn about put. Go to the method and change to put, and copy the base URL. Generally put is used to update the data. So here this is the put API, so update API. So click on this. So here we no need to pass any parameters, and also here paste this reference URL here. So here what we need to do is, generally put means update, right? So whatever the data which is present in the get method, take any ID, like any student ID, and update that particular student. So in this case I am taking, previously we have sent the request now, so the same response I am taking. So in the body, go to the body, select raw and paste here. So you may confuse that for get and post where you are passing body parameters. Why I am passing this payload means, here we need to update the data. In the post we have sent the data, but here we are updating the data. And select JSON, and instead of, and also here ID is mandatory, because which ID you are going to update. So earlier if you have seen, this is the ID, so copy this ID and paste here. It is already pasted, so yeah. So for this particular ID I am going to update the data. So here I will change to 24, last used. 4021 student. Instead of English I will change to max. Okay, so I am sending the request. So this data will get updated for this particular ID. See, there is a 400 error. Why? Okay, one thing I forgot to tell you that, so here you are updating, right? So here you need to pass the ID, because without passing the proper ID here, it cannot recognize which data need to update. So copy this ID and paste here. But in the post method, even though if you not provide any ID also, it will get update. But in the put method, it is mandatory to pass the ID, so that it will be mapping to that particular data. So click on send. So response 200, okay, message update data success. So now go to the get API and check whether the data got changed or not. So copy this ID and again I am sending the data. So click on send. See, the data got updated. Telugu Mathematics 24 December 4021. See, Telugu Maths. So this is the basic API testing. So in the further sections, we'll be seeing what is authorization, headers, params, all the things. So as of now, we are testing the basic APIs for all the methods. So final one is delete. So let's check. So click on the new tab and select the method delete. The delete method is used to delete the particular record. So in this, copy the base URL, copy the reference URL. So here you need to pass the ID. So which ID? ID is unique, right? So which data you want to delete? So pass that particular ID. So in my case, I'll be passing this ID. Okay, copy this ID and paste here. So no need to pass here any body. So I'm sending the request. Let's see. So the status is true and data delete success and status is 200. Okay. So let's check whether the data got deleted or not in the get API. Copy the ID and the same ID, right? If I send this, see, no data found. So in this way, we can use the delete method for deleting any particular record by using the ID. So let us do end-to-end testing at one final time. So first I'm posting the data. So let us change this to 25. Telugu none. Okay. So click on send. So data got added successfully. So search for this particular year in the get method because we don't know ID, right? So ID will be generated unique. So that's why I'm filtering all the data. So this is the get API. So it is formatting into the JSON. Just wait. Okay. So search for 25. So, oh, so many are there. So just a second. Let me change this to Telugu's. Copy and now send request one more time and search paste here. So only one result. So this is the ID which is got generated. Okay. Next is put. Put is used to update the data. So for updating the data, we need ID. Which ID? Unique ID. For each particular record, we will be having one ID, right? So copy this ID. Here I want to change from English to Telugu again. So go to the post put method and paste here the ID and copy the format payload and go to the go to body and paste that payload here, and which data you want to update. In the year I want to update to 29, so send. And and important thing here, your 400 bad request came because the id 1 is not present in the get API. So we need to give the proper id here. So paste the id, whichever id you are passing in the URL, right? So same id pass here, and again send the request. So data got updated successfully. Now you need to check whether this data got updated successfully or not, whether the year got changed to 29 or not. So again go back to the get API and send one more time the request, and copy the 2029. Okay, so it is loading, wait. So see, where is 20? Oh, so many are there. See, this is the data which we got updated, right? For this particular ID, look at here, 128. So Telugu, English, okay, yeah. So in this way you can check manually whether the you are getting the expected updated data or not while sending the request. And final, delete. So I want to delete this ID, means this particular record. So go to the delete API and paste that ID, which record you want to delete, and send the request. So here the status is okay, 200, data success, delete success. So now go back to the get API and check whether the data got deleted or not. So again send the get request, so which record you have deleted, copy this ID and check whether this ID exists in the list or not. See, this particular ID doesn't exist in our get API. So in this way you can test the post, get, put, delete methods manually. So this is all about the manual testing the APIs. So in the coming sessions, how we can able to automate the tests using the Postman, we will check. So if you like, please subscribe and share. Thank you, friends.